It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon when everything in Jason's life changed forever. Jason, a devoted manager at a mid-sized tech firm, had been buried under weeks of tight deadlines and relentless pressure. For what felt like forever, he hadn't taken a moment to truly breathe. On a whim, he decided to indulge in a rare, extended lunch break, a small act of rebellion he thought would help clear his head. He had no idea that this simple choice would unravel his entire world. Normally, Jason was a man of routine. Every day, he ate lunch at the same deli near his office. But that afternoon, nostalgia nudged him in a different direction. He drove across town to a charming little café he and his wife, Amanda, used to visit often during their dating days. It had been years since their last visit, but the memory of those early moments together drew him back. The moment he stepped inside, the comforting scent of freshly brewed coffee and warm pastries wrapped around him, pulling a faint smile from his tired face. He chose a quiet corner by the window, ordered a sandwich, and pulled out his phone to catch up on emails. The low hum of casual conversations served as a soft background, and as he gazed out the window, watching strangers pass by, a rare sense of calm settled over him. That was when he saw her. At first, he thought his mind was playing tricks on him. Amanda was supposed to be at work, miles away. Yet there she was, walking hand in hand with another man, her laughter ringing out in a way Jason hadn't heard in years. They stopped just outside the cafe, leaning close, their faces lit with an intimacy that sent an icy shiver down his spine. Jason's heart pounded violently. His body felt rooted to the chair, every muscle locked, his mind struggling to make sense of what he was seeing. He watched as Amanda and the man stepped into a small boutique across the street. For a moment, he told himself to let it go, that maybe there was a harmless explanation. But a sharp, unshakable suspicion clawed at him. Driven by a heavy mix of dread and curiosity, Jason paid for his food, stepped into the crisp afternoon air, and quietly followed. Keeping his distance, he trailed them into the boutique. He watched Amanda hold up outfits, modeling them for the man, who smiled and nodded in approval. They looked like lovers, completely wrapped up in each other, oblivious to the rest of the world. Each passing second tightened the pressure in Jason's chest. When they left the shop, Jason continued after them, his stomach sinking deeper with every step, until he saw them walk into a nearby hotel. They didn't hesitate. They didn't look back. The sight hit him like a blow to the ribs. Standing there on the sidewalk, frozen, Jason felt the full weight of the truth pressed down on him. His wife was having an affair, and he had stumbled across it in the middle of what was supposed to be a simple lunch break. His thoughts churned uncontrollably, anger, disbelief, sadness, betrayal, swirling into chaos. But one thing stood out through the haze. He couldn't confront her here, not now. He needed a plan. That evening, Jason walked into their home carrying the heavy burden of what he discovered. Amanda greeted him with a warm smile and a kiss on the cheek, her voice light as she asked, "How was your day?" "It was fine," he replied, forcing a calm expression while his mind screamed with unspoken questions. They ate dinner together, exchanging small talk as if nothing had changed. Amanda's composure was flawless, almost chilling, and Jason couldn't fathom how she could act so normal after what he'd seen. In the days that followed, he hovered between the urge to confront her and the need to gather proof. He chose to wait, to watch, and to look for more signs. And soon they appeared. Late nights at the office. Sudden work trips. A phone that seemed to never leave her hand. Piece by piece, Jason was assembling the puzzle. When the tension became unbearable, he hired a private investigator. The waiting was agonizing, but he knew he needed undeniable evidence. When the report finally came in, Jason's worst fears solidified. The photos, timestamps, and detailed notes revealed the truth in brutal clarity. Amanda had been seeing a man named David for months, slipping away for stolen afternoons and secret getaways. That night, Jason sat alone with the evidence spread out before him. His heart was a storm of anger, grief, and betrayal. But beneath it all, a cold, clear certainty emerged. He knew what he had to do. The next morning, he asked Amanda to sit down at the kitchen table. The exhaustion in his eyes told its own story. "Amanda, we need to talk," he said quietly but with a steady edge. Her brows furrowed. "What's wrong?" Without a word, Jason slid the investigator's report across the table.
"This," he said.
Amanda's hands trembled as she opened the folder, her eyes scanning the damning pages. Her face drained of color. "Jason, I can explain," she began, her voice shaking. "Don't," he interrupted, raising a hand. "I've seen enough. I just want to know why." Her shoulders sagged. She stared at her hands. "I don't know," she whispered. "I never meant to hurt you. It just happened." Jason's chest ached at her words, but he stayed firm. "I trusted you, Amanda. We built a life together. How could you throw it away?" Tears welled in her eyes, sliding down her cheeks. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. The silence between them was heavier than any shouting could have been. In the days that followed, Jason moved out. The house felt like a hollow monument to broken promises, and he couldn't bear to stay. He filed for divorce, knowing there was no way back from this. Amanda called, texted, and even showed up at his door, begging for forgiveness. But Jason knew forgiveness wouldn't fix what was gone. The love they had once shared was poison beyond repair. He poured himself into his work, leaned on the support of friends and family, and sought out new experiences, hobbies, trips, and moments that reminded him of who he'd been before his marriage consumed his life. Months later, during a walk in the park, he saw a young family laughing together. The children's joy and the parents' shared warmth stirred something deep within him, a quiet spark of hope. For the first time in months, he believed that happiness was still possible. That life, even after devastation, could rebuild itself. And so, Jason took the first step toward a new chapter, one not defined by betrayal, but by resilience. He carried the scars of heartbreak, but he also carried the knowledge that he could survive it. Jason's story was one of loss, but also of rediscovery. He had faced his darkest days and walked through them, emerging stronger, ready to embrace whatever the future held.